Alright, today I'm going to show you how to take a starter off of a Expedition 4.6, and this holds true for the Mountaineers, Explorers, all the way up to probably mid-2005 or 6, and all the way back, I believe, to 1995. This is a 2000 Expedition that I'm taking this starter off of on. It is a 4.6. The tools you will have to have is a 1/4 inch ratchet, a couple extensions. These are about 2 inches each. You don't want nothing very long. A deep well socket, which is a 13, and a smaller 13. A 5-point would be great, but I don't have a 5-point. And you need a 10mm little socket. Now, the idea is if you have pretty long arms like I have, you want to get your vehicle up about 1.5 feet or so. Not too high, not too low. The idea is you want your arms to get up in that starter and be able to take your hand and kind of get on top of that starter to help guide that socket on one of the bolts. So let's get under here and show you what we got. All right, now I'm on my back, and we are looking up at the starter. Now on the bottom of the starter there is a ground held by a little 13mm bolt. We'll take that off, and we'll take the ground off, and you have a secondary stud with a nut on it. It is a 13 deep well. Well, we're going to take those off last, but the first thing we have to do is basically get back here in the back and take off those little bolts you see on the wire. That is a little 10mm, and there's a 13. Also, I forgot to mention, you do have to unhook your battery. And as you can see, my battery is unhooked, so that's very important. Make sure your battery is unhooked. Alright, now I'm on my back, and the first thing I want to do is go ahead and take off the little nut that's on the ground back there, and I think you can see that. Let me take my finger. Actually, it's on the back of the solenoid there, not a ground. What it probably is, it just kind of helps to get it, helps the starter to kick in and get it going. So we'll take this little nut off. Now my hands are dirty, so I would also recommend that you wear some goggles. You do not want to get crap in your face. Alright, we'll slide this wire off. Push it off the side, and now we need our 15. I'm sorry, not 15, our 13. This guy here. We'll go ahead and take off the hot wire on the back here. Get it loose, and you can usually take it off with your hands, like this. We are going to make changing starters great again on these 4.6. These are the most difficult starters to get off. People freak out when they find out they have to put a starter on. And I don't blame them, because it is pretty involved. Alright, now the next tools we've got to have is basically one of these guys, the little short extensions. These are about at 2 inches each. You don't want nothing very long, because right here, if you can see where my finger is, there's a frame. You can't get an extension on top of that very long, because if you do, it'll hit this, and you cannot get that very top bolt out, which is in the very top, and it takes a 13. But I like to use a deep well on it. Now, what I'll do, since I'm right-handed, I'll take my left hand and kind of stick up on top of the starter like this. Can you see my fingers there waving at you? All right. I'll take my other hand, and I'll take the socket, and I'll stick it up there like this. Now with my left hand, I can kind of feel where that other bolt is on top. And like I said, it's up there. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So once you get that ratchet, once you get the socket and the extension on there, kind of take your hand back out and grab your ratchet and make sure it's already on the lock position so you can take it off. Stick it on the ratchet. Because you can't stick the ratchet and the extension on there at the same time, there's just not enough room. And once you get that on there, then you can start taking the bolt out. And I'll take my other hand and I'll kind of feel there. Alright, and there it comes. Alright, now this bolt's pretty long, so have patience. It takes a little while to get it out. It takes about a couple of minutes. Since you have nothing to do, we'll just do this in real time. Oh, my arm's already tired. I'm getting too old for this. I'm doing this now. It's late October, and I know it's going to be getting cold here in a few weeks, but I just put a new transmission in this, and I figured I'll take the starter out, clean it, put it back in. That way, if there's ever a problem, it'll be nice and clean. I can get to it without getting too greasy. By the way, this is my neighbor's vehicle. I fixed it for him. All right, I think I got it out. Now you have to pretty much take the ratchet out first, because there's really no room to get them both out at the same time. There's the ratchet, and there's the extension, but I still got to go ahead and finish taking the bolt out on the top. It's loose enough to turn with my fingers at this point. All right, it's out, and I dropped it there. It's on top of the starter. I'll grab it with my other hand. Try to keep my big head out of the shot. All right, there it is. It just fell out. And there is the top bolt. Now, like I said, this is the hard bolt. You got to have a little patience to get your hand up in there in order to get this socket to guide on there to break it loose. And then when you go to put this back in, it takes a little patience to get the bolt kind of started back in. But I always like to put the other two bolts in first. When I'm putting the starter back on, put this bolt in last, because it'll hold the starter on there and you won't have to worry about moving the starter around trying to get this bolt straight started in there. All right, now that bolt's out. I'll go ahead and start taking out. There's a side bolt right here. I'm gonna have to move the camera down so you can see it a little bit. All right, now there's a side bolt right here on the side. If you can even see that, I think you can see that. Guide my finger right about here. All right, well, I think you get the idea. We'll go ahead and take it out next. You'll have to use the extension, like I said earlier. This one's a little easier. It's not too bad. Stick this back in here like this. Kind of get it on there like that. Actually, that stayed up there that time. Take this ratchet, put it back on her like this. Get it locked on there. It's like I said, that motor mount's in the way there, so it makes it a little hard to get. And now we go ahead and take this bolt out. Am I in the right area? I'm sorry if I don't have it quite right. It's hard to see and hold the camera at the same time. All right, that bolt's coming loose. Actually, it's pretty loose. I'll go ahead and see if I can spin it out with my fingers. And at this point, we only have one bolt left, which is on the bottom. Take the socket out first. Put the extension and the socket back on the bolt, spin it with my fingers. Makes it easier. I think you can still see my hand. Okay, that bolt is out. Whew. And one more to go, and that's this ground. Now we'll move the camera down a little bit more there. All right, now we got to take off the ground, which is 3, 2, 1. All right, now we got to take out the ground, which is right here. I'll use a little short 13 on that, and my 13 just went somewhere. One. All right, sorry about that. I had to find my 13. It rolled away on me. Now we'll go ahead and take off the ground, which is back here. And hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I mean, this is a pretty good idea what you got to go through. It's really tough to zoom in and get the camera angle just right when you're doing this by yourself. Now we're going to take the ground wire off, and I think you can see that. Push it off to the side. This is why you want the battery unhooked, because that hot wire will touch metal and you'll be sparks will be everywhere. And now we got to take off the last bolt, which is a deep well, and you could just use a regular extension. A regular deep well on it. Break it loose. All right. All right, and the starter is ready to come off, and I'm going to take my other hand and kind of hold it there so it doesn't fall on me. And so my fat face will stay out of the shot. I like some of these other videos I've been watching online. These guys are high production, and they don't even have any grease on their hands. They don't even do their own work. They have somebody else do their own work, and they stage it. I do all my own work. I might be able to get this out now with my fingers. So close. Yeah, but like I said, safety glasses make your life a little bit easier because there's always something falling out. Okay, can you see that bolt? There's the last one, and there's the little stud that the ground goes on. And now we can take the starter out, push it back, and drop her down as the dirt comes flying out. And there's the starter, and we'll look at it here. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just going to take it out and clean it up a little bit and check all the grounds, make sure everything is all right. And I'm going to get it out here in the light just a little bit better. There you go. These starters, like I said, are a pain in the ass. It sets on there like that, and there is the top bolt that is very difficult to get to right there. This is why you got to kind of stick your hand up on top like that and guide that ratchet and socket on there, which is right here. Because if you can get to this top bolt, the starter's not too bad to replace. Like this. Just like that. That's how you gotta kind of start that on there. And it's like I said, the side bolt and the very bottom bolt where the ground is not a big deal. And there's a look at the solenoid on the back. Alright, there you go. So hopefully I helped you guys out. And thanks for watching. And like I said, a lot of these Expeditions set up pretty high, so you may not even have to jack it up. But like I said, I replaced the transmission. But it really depends on your arm length, on how high you want to jack it. Probably just drive it up on a pair of ramps, and you would be okay. I have extra blocks, like I said, because I had to change the transmission. But you know, you can figure out what height you need to be able to get your arms up in there to get those bolts out of the starter, especially this top one. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but you can do it. All right, thanks everybody for watching, and good luck, and be safe.